Okay, guys, we are going to do a quick little draw up of GBPNZD this morning. Tomorrow morning at 4:30. We got some heavy news that's coming out about the Great British Pound. So maybe we can see if we can set up for it and be ready for it tomorrow. Take a look and see what we got here. So if we just zoom out for the daily, we'll start here with the daily. We got a nice information which shows that we had a strong impulse down to the downside back in like the third week of July. We had a strong impulse to the downside, and now we've had a correction. And what I'm seeing, what my bias is for the Great British Pound is for it to take a turn to the downside. So just taking a look at this, this is what I see for the daily, and we can zoom in and get a little closer. Okay, so let me just hide that for now. So right here, we'll see that we have, excuse me, right here we'll see that we are in a triangle, or what we may say as an ascending wedge. When you have an ascending wedge after a strong impulse to the downside, that's a strong indicator that you are going to see some you're looking for a continuation for the downside, because it's going to pull down or do an impulse to the downside. If you can see that strong impulse down to the downside, and then it's going to pull back. You see how through this ascending wedge consolidation, it's pulling up, it's creating a nice little triangle, it's pulling up to be like half at its height. It was like half of the it reached like halfway the length or halfway of this whole movement, if that makes sense. If it don't make sense, if you know a little bit about Forex, if you don't, you're like, what is she talking about? But so basically what we're looking for now is how do we enter the market and get some pips off of this, right? So if we look in this green zone right here, we see that we have bounced off of this trend line 1, 2, almost 3 times. So we bounced off the trend line 1, 2 times. Then when it tried to reach the third time, it broke down and broke past the trend line. But we kept the overall formation of a triangle. Now we're in the second part, or the second half of this triangle, and we're doing the same thing again. We are going up to the trend line, testing that, touching it, bouncing back down, testing it, not with strong not with vigor, not with a strong engulfing candle, but we are touching it. And then we came down and we broke through. That was today with the news. We broke through, but you can see we immediately shot right back down, because if we throw in the fundamental aspects of it, the Great British Pound hiked up their rates yesterday on the 7th. The central banks in Great Britain hiked up their rates. So with that hike rate increase, you can see where there was a spike in price before that, and then the sellers just sold off, right? You see they just sold off. And then you see that the market settled in and it's trying to pull back to be half or 50% of this strong impulse move, trying to pull back. So with the news tomorrow, it's possibility, because we have our moving averages on the 4-hour, the 4 moving average pushing that up on the 4-hour. So we could possibly see a nice spike up into this area again tomorrow. You know, it's very, very possible that we could see a nice spike up into that area again tomorrow, or sometime next week after the news comes out. But my overall bias is that it's going to spike up because we're still in this channel, and it's going to run out of space to operate within this channel. And because it's broken the top portion of this channel and hasn't even revisited that, it's showing you that it's weakened. Because let's if I were to take that out, let's say if it wasn't there, I don't want to move it because of the metal. I'll move, okay. So you can see it's creating a triangle, right? Kind of sort of with a flat top. Not exactly a flat type, but it's creating a triangle. We can extend this all the way out. We can send that all the way out to touch this resistance line here. Pull that all the way out to touch that resistance line. And but what we can see is that it touched this, failed, touched it again, failed. It couldn't even make it to the top, and then it failed. And now it's created a new lower high, right? And then it created another lower high. And now we have it created a lower low, and then it created another lower low. And now with the pullback, because it always has to retest an area where the breakdown happened. It retested the area, but it spiked back up here into a previous area that it had spiked up into before. When it spiked up into that area, even with the news, the sellers sold off, and you can see that price came all the way back down here to what? Touch and test that trend line. So what we can expect, or my bias is that we're gonna see a nice push to the upside, maybe to the 1.93684, or even a little higher to try to test this horizontal trend line right here. I'm sorry, this diagonal trend line here. I doubt it, because we have failed to do it for quite some time here, but it's possible. But after we touch that, I feel as though we were going to get some wick rejection like we did here, and we're going to break this trend line and come on down to the downside. So let me put this back here just for reference. Okay. And I think that when that happens, we're going to see either this, sorry guys, either this to that, either that horizontal line, or we are going to see it come from here to here. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at these scenarios, these price areas as possible areas in price to enter the market so you can ride it back down. If you are in my Facebook fundamentals group, then you know that I put in there that, you know, the key to trading and what I'm learning is that you don't chase trades. You let the trade come to you. So after you do your technical analysis, what you would do here is not do a market execution or anything like that. You would go into your brokerage account, see where price is, set a sell limit, because your bias, if you were me, your bias is to the downside, and you would set your sell limit at these different prices, or up here, here, or here. And then you would just hit your stop loss, whatever you feel comfortable, your stop loss, and then your take profit. And your take profit, you have to think about like your take profit would be a place in the past where the market has changed directions. So the market changed direction here, it changed direction here, it changed direction here, and in this area, you can see it was a slowdown. So if we come from here and go down here, we could see that, or we could see here to here. But I have overall bias to the downside for GBPNZD, and that's on the 4 hour, so that could play out. Oh goodness. Oh no. Okay, I don't know what that was. So that's on the 4 hour, so that could take some time to play out. So if we go to the 1 hour, it kind of zooms in and you can see all of my trend lines. Don't get too scared. It's not that bad. And you'll figure that out as you trade too. And as you see, when you come down to the 4 hour, you can see that the 4 moving average has crossed over the 50 and it is pushing to the upside. And that's probably what we'll see tomorrow. We will probably see this spike up into this area because this moving average is supporting it and holding it up for just to be very, simple. So it is very possible that it's going to shoot up past this, hit this line, and then do exactly what this did and just come on down and collect pips. This move right here is bananas. This move right here, that's a 130 pip move in 1 hour. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's my bias for GBPNZD. So I did all of that with just straight trend lines, support, and resistance demand zones. So what if we go in and we use like a fun little strategy and we do that? So we have our teacup strategy. We have we have a bullish, bearish, lower low candle. Yes, the candle is ridiculous, and we obviously are 15 pips above the candle body. So the rules with that, if you're in iMarketsLive, then you know that you would place your sell limit in the middle of that wick. And where is the middle of that wick? Right there at the previous resistance. Right there at the previous resistance. You see how this was the previous resistance in the past? So guys, this trading thing, once you get it, it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to be back next week with another video. I know it's Thursday, it's late in the week, and you know, but hey, we're just doing this thing and making it fun, okay? And I will see you guys Tuesday with some more markups and technical analysis. Peace.